We are here in West Newton at one of our projects, the Design Studio basement remodel. So since our last episode, we got all the installation done, and what we ended up going for was a closed cell spray foam installation on the entire foundation. Being an irregular foundation, it made the most sense because our walls were furred off of that foundation. We were able to spray 2 to 3 inches of closed cell foam on that existing foundation wall. But you're also going to notice that some of the walls still have framing exposed, and the reason being is those areas are actually going to get a Baltic birch finish. Rather than the traditional drywall, we're going to be doing natural Baltic birch, which we've come up with this detail that we've worked with Amy on, and it's actually going to have a small 1/8 inch gap between each panel that we may use, say, a walnut or some sort of dark wood or material to create an intentional 1/8 inch gap between every seam. On the walls, the panels are going to stand vertically, so you have the vertical grain, and all the doors are also going to be made up of a laminated Baltic birch. One of the cool details is, you'll see this in an upcoming episode, is that we're going to leave all the edges of that Baltic birch exposed. So we're going to hit that edge, really show off that multi-layer of Baltic birch plywood, and that's going to go floor to ceiling, as well as the ceiling and as well as the doors. So anytime we change direction, we're not going to miter fold anything or miter anything. You're going to see that intentional plywood edge. So let's hop inside, take a look at what's going on. Before I forget, my concrete guys are on site prepping the slab. We got this new product that we're going to be, or new to us. I know Eric's been using it for quite some time, but we're going to use this product in the basement to basically make it look like polished concrete, but being that the slab isn't in the best of shape, this is actually a trowelable material that's going to have a monolithic look throughout the entire basement. So let's check on the progress and we'll go from there. You're good. So behind here, you can see some of this framing still exposed that I had mentioned, and this entire wall here is all spray foamed. So right behind this is that irregular foundation. This right here is, the framing with the stone foundation below. So we have 2 to 3 inches of that foam sprayed. And then above me and in all the interior walls, we have this rock wool insulation, which is a Roxol. Safe and Sound is actually the product that we're using. But we filled all the cavities, so behind me here is a bedroom for a live-in nanny. So sound is important, especially transmitting sound from the living space above down. We want to try to keep that separated as best as we can. This entire space is going to be that Baltic birch that I talked about, the vertical with the 1/8 inch dark gap seams. Here on the right, here's an update on our bathroom. Concrete guys are mixing up some concrete, patching where the plumbing had to be cut out. We got a little bit more work to build this up at all one level prior to tile. But what we're standing on here is the existing concrete slab. You'll see some of these cracks have been ground out. You see behind me, some of them have been actually taped with an epoxy, as well as, I believe this is a fiber tape, to prevent any cracks from happening in the micro topping slab that we have going on. Let's jump back here and then we'll touch base with Eric in a moment. This, again, spray foam and exposed framing, but you're going to work your way into the front of the house here, and this is all plaster. So again, 1/2 inch blue board with a single coat veneer plaster over the entire surface, smooth finish on the walls as well as the ceiling. You'll notice that, here we have a light hanging down. We actually cut all our lights in after. In this situation, it makes more sense. The electricians prefer to do it that way, but they're also great. They wire all these temporary lights so we can continue to work. This becomes our washer dryer area, as well as a mechanical closet. We recently upgraded to a rinnai hot water heater. It's the RUC 98. This feeds all, I believe, 5 or 6 bathrooms in this home. And I know the homeowners tested it out and it keeps up with their demands. So definitely an upgrade over the traditional water heater that they had prior that was having a real hard time keeping up with the multiple showers and children in this home. So let's hop over, touch base with Eric. What's up, Eric? What's going on? Good. So Eric's with Giordano Custom Concrete. Basically what we got going on today, we're doing some patching and prep for the micro topping slab. Yes. So walk me through that product. I know I got a sample here. Yep. So this is something, this is what the homeowner selected. This is the natural finish of it, right?
It is, yes. No integral color. That's a natural product, engineered. That's the way it's made.
So who makes this product?
Durham Engineered Products makes it. They're out of New Jersey. They're based out of New Jersey.
Okay.
And it's a semi-self-leveler. Not
Okay.
quite as wet as a self-leveler.
Right.
So we do trowel it and we re-trowel it like regular concrete.
So that's, you had mentioned that before, because I know in my experience, the self-leveler, you pour it down, you try to get as level as possible, you work quickly, and you can that's it. So this you can actually trowel. You get it pretty close, and you had used special knee boards, right?
Spiked knee boards.
Yeah.
And then we re-trowel it one time, and it gives it some characteristics of natural concrete.
Okay.
You see some burnishing from the trowel marks.
Right.
So it's a really unique look.
Okay.
You know.
So this is, and the goal down here was to have polished concrete floors, but being that the floor is kind of irregular in spots and different colors, this is going to give us that monolithic look of a polished concrete.
Exactly.
Walk me through, so the joints back here are all taped up. Is that a fiber mesh tape?
We put a fiber tape down with some epoxy over some cracks that weren't filled previously.
Sure.
Looks like they filled the other ones with some hydraulic cement. They look solid. They've been down a while.
Yep.
So I'm going to leave those.
Okay.
And now we'll come in, our next step is we'll do an epoxy over the top, which is going to seal the surface and create a good bond. And we'll broadcast a sand on it.
Okay.
Until it won't take any more sand.
Now, does that sand, is that for bite for the Durham?
It will. It'll grab. The sand will grab to the epoxy and then in turn grab the the semi-self leveler.
Okay.
We use the same type of application primer with our self levelers. It's the same type of situation. So the epoxy will also give us a vapor barrier too, which is probably...
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's not needed down here. We don't have a ton of moisture issue, but with the spray foam on the walls and that additional
It will help with vapor transmission. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So through the process, we have the primer that will go down,
Yep.
and then followed by that trowelable material, Durham. So Durham, it's what particular product does?
This is called Param SSL, semi-self level.
Okay.
It used to call. It used to be called Pentamento. They changed the name.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure why. They did last year. They do that every now and again.
Right.
But it's a good product. We've been working with them. Victor over there at Durham.
Yep.
Good company.
So that will go down in a day. You'll let that set. You'll trowel it twice.
Yep.
And then the following day you come through with a buffer.
We will. We'll just use a swing machine and give it a light buff with the screen.
Yep.
Usually I'll do 100 grit. We
Okay.
don't want to take anything off.
Right.
Just kind of want to knock anything down. It'll take off any fine lines. We'll give it a vacuum and we'll put 2 coats of sealer on. Usually we use an acrylic urethane mix or an acrylic, something like that. It's water-based, breathable.
Okay.
We're not going to get any smell.
Right.
The solvent-based sealers are tough when you're in a basement because house smells for 2-3 days.
Well, let me ask you this. Beyond that, so that's kind of where your process stops. You guys seal it.
And we'll put a floor finish after that, which is a sacrificial finish. So it's not a wax. It's a no buff.
Okay.
But that finish can be reapplied by the homeowner or janitorial company very easily with a microfiber cloth, and it'll fill in fine scratches.
Okay.
We sell products similar to that for hardwood floors. It kind of makes the floors look...
It's you said it's not a wax, but it works in...
It's not a wax where you have to buff it. It's a no-buff acrylic floor finish.
Gotcha.
It's like an 18% solids. You can get it at big box improvement stores or online. It's very easy to use.
Let's talk real quick about maintenance. So she moves down here. This becomes her work, her design studio. Yep. How are we cleaning the floors, and how often?
Well, typically we clean the floors. We like to vacuum. Sand is the biggest, bringing in things that are harsh. And then after you vacuum and clean it, you could use a Swifter. Simple green works nice.
So really
nothing abrasive.
Nothing abrasive. So any of the cleaning products are going to do just fine. The traditional home cleaning products.
Hot water, all that. That'll all work. And then if it does get too much, patina over the years, and it needs a couple coats of floor finish, you can apply that as much or as little as you want.
That's awesome.
You can do it once a year, twice a year. Some people never do it.
Cool.
So.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's an easy system, and it's concrete. You get a burst pipe or a flood, you mop it up and move on.
That's the beauty, especially down here in a basement in an area that she's going to use for work.
Exactly.
Very cool. Well, we're excited to see the process.
All right.
Thank you for chatting. So over here this room here is also plastered. This is actually going to be their kid room. they want a space for their kids to be able to dump their toys and not worry about it. A door will go on and they'll close it. This will be their space. They can make a mess of it. So the walls and the ceiling, plaster finish, nothing crazy like the Baltic birch that we're gonna do throughout. A few details that you'll see is these columns out here. You probably saw one in the kids' room as well. That one's gonna stay remaining exposed, and we're gonna paint the brick. But out here where the Baltic birch is, we're actually gonna wrap these in the Baltic birch column. So this entire space is gonna be polished concrete with Baltic birch with those small little 1/8 inch gaps, and it should look pretty incredible.